Here's a sentence that sounds impossible, but happens every single day. Our revenue is up 80% this year, and we are bleeding cash. Both true at the same time. A growing top line can completely hide a business that loses money on every sale. So to see which one you've actually got, you stop staring at the whole company. You zoom all the way in to a single customer. This is the one mental model that runs a business. Take one customer and put them on a scale. On the left pan, what they cost you to acquire. On the right pan, what they're worth to you over their entire life. The whole company lives or dies on which side of that scale wins. And here's the thing. Top-line revenue never tells you which side it is. Let's build this scale up, piece by piece. First, why the number everyone celebrates can quietly lie. Watch these two lines. Revenue, on top, climbs the whole way. So the headline looks like a clean triumph. But look at cash underneath. It slides right through the break-even line and straight into the red. Why? Because each new customer is being sold at a loss. And the cruel part is, you can scale that forever. You'll just dig the hole faster. So when a founder says we grew 3 times this year, that number hides the real story. Growth is only ever a multiplier. If the economics of one customer are positive, growth prints money. If they're negative, growth just multiplies the losses. Which means the only honest question isn't the big one about the company, it's the small one. What happens with a single customer? So let's weigh the cost side first. Meet CAC. CAC is your customer acquisition cost. Everything you spend to win one new customer. And it's not just ad dollars. It's the whole sales and marketing machine, divided by the customers it actually brought in. The formula is simple. Total sales plus marketing spend, divided by new customers acquired. Spend $200,000 to land 500 customers, and each one cost you $400 before they've paid you a cent. That's the weight in the left pan. And you have to count everything that goes into it. Not just the ad spend, the salaries of the sales team, the software tools, the commissions, the content, the events. The fully loaded cost of going to market. Here's the trap. If you only count ad spend, your CC looks tiny and every channel looks brilliant. Undercount it and you will very happily pour money into scaling something that loses on every sale. Now the other pan. What is one customer actually worth? This is LTV, lifetime value. The total profit one customer brings you before they leave. And notice, it's not what they pay you. It's what's left after the cost of serving them, summed over how long they stay. A clean way to estimate it. Their revenue per month, times your gross margin, times their lifetime. $50 a month at 60% margin for 40 months is about $1,200. And now finally, the right pan has real weight on it. And the length of that lifetime comes straight from churn. It's simply 1 divided by your churn rate. If 5% of your customers leave every month, the average customer sticks around for about 20 months. So watch what happens when you cut churn in half. Lifetime doubles and LTV doubles with it, for 0 extra acquisition spend. This is why retention quietly is the whole game. 2 numbers on the scale. Time for the verdict. Now just divide one pan by the other. What a customer is worth over what they cost. $1,200 divided by 400 is 3. An LTV to CAC ratio of 3:1. And you can see the scale tip firmly toward worth. That single number tells you whether the unit works and how hard. Around 3:1 is the healthy bar. Drop under 1:1 and the cost pan wins. You lose money on every customer you add. So the ratio gives you the verdict. Under 1:1, you lose money per customer. Around 3:1 is the healthy target. Above 5:1 is great, or a sign you're underspending on growth. But a strong ratio alone isn't enough, because you also have to get your cash back fast. That's the payback period, the number of months of margin it takes to repay CC. Watch that bar fill. Under about 12 months is the common bar. Let it stretch too long, and growth starves you of cash, even while every customer is profitable on paper. Where does CHE really come from? Follow the funnel. Acquisition is a funnel, and it leaks at every step. 10,000 ad clicks become 4,200 visitors, then 1,100 signups, then a few hundred trials, and finally, 95 paying customers. Every drop along the way sets your real CC. And here's the good news hidden in that. Fix the worst leak, and your CAC falls across the board, with no extra ad budget at all. This is where unit economics are actually won. And to trust your LTV, read retention by cohort. Group customers by the month they joined. Each row here is one cohort. Then follow that row across time. If the curve keeps falling towards zero, lifetime is short, and your LTV is thin. But if it flattens out, like the plateau on the right, those customers are staying for years. And that plateau means the unit economics are far stronger than any single blended average would ever reveal. One last layer, from per customer math to actual profit. Let's strip a single sale down to its contribution margin. Take the price of one unit and subtract only the variable costs. The costs that exist purely because you made that one sale. The goods themselves, the shipping, the payment fees, the support. What's left is the contribution margin. And this, not revenue, is what each sale truly contributes back to the business. Here's how that becomes profit. Each unit throws off its contribution margin. Stack enough of those margins together, and the pile finally rises to cover your fixed costs. The rent, the salaries, the servers, the things you pay no matter how much you sell. Cross that line, and you are profitable. And that is exactly why positive unit economics aren't a nice to have. They are the only thing that ever gets you across that line. You know the pieces now. Let's pressure test them on some real numbers. Let's run a real case across this scale. A customer pays you $90 a month. Your gross margin is 70%. So out of that 90, $63 is actual profit. The rest goes to serving them. And say they stay 30 months. So lifetime value is $63 a month, times 30 months, about $1,890 on the worth pan. They cost you $700 to acquire. Watch the ratio chip. That's roughly 2.7 to 1. Solid. But notice it lands under the 3 to 1 bar, so the chip glows amber, not green. And down on the payback bar, those $63 a month repay the $700 in about 11 months, just inside the year. A decent unit, with a little room left to improve. Now here's a trap the ratio alone will hide from you. Look at these two businesses. Both spent $600 to win a customer, and both earned $2,400 back over the customer's life. An identical 4 to 1. On the ratio, they're twins. But watch the bars fill. The software business pulls in $100 of margin a month, so it gets its cash back in just 6 months. The hardware business earns only $25 a month. Same lifetime value, but it takes 2 full years to recover. With a payback that long, every new customer drains cash today and pays you back much later. So you can grow fast, look profitable on every spreadsheet, and still run completely out of money. A healthy ratio is not enough. You also have to get your cash back quickly. And here's the gentlest lever of all: retention. Take a customer worth $60 of margin a month, one for $480. At 5% monthly churn, the average one stays 20 months, so $1,200 of worth, just 2.5 to 1. Now shave a single point off that churn from 5% down to 4. Remember, lifetime is 1 divided by churn, so it stretches from 20 months to 25. That's a quarter longer for free. Watch the worth pan climb. Lifetime value rises to $1,500, and the ratio tips past 3 to 1 into the green. You didn't spend an extra cent to acquire anyone. You just kept them a little longer. And retention quietly compounds into the whole difference. So let's follow one customer, from an ad click all the way to profit. They click an ad, and you pay $400 to win them. That's CC, the weight in the left pan. They subscribe and hand you $40 of margin every month. By month 10, that margin has fully repaid your $400. Payback, done. And then they stay for about 30 months. So everything after month 10 is pure value. Worth 1200 against a cost of 400, 3 to 1, paid back inside a year. That one customer is a business that works. And that's the whole of unit economics, on one breath. Win them cheaply, keep them a long time. Make the lifetime value about 3 times the cost to acquire and earn it back fast. CAC, LTV, the ratio, payback, the funnel, the margin. Every one of them is just a way of asking the same small question. Does one customer pay off? Get that right. And growth finally means winning. So the next time someone waves around a revenue chart that only goes up, you'll know to ask the one question that actually matters. But does a single customer pay off? Answer that. And you can tell a real business from a fast and expensive way to lose money. Subscribe for more such intuitive videos.